Welcome to the Third Win channel. Today we're going to be doing season 4 episodes for iCarly. I've done 1, 2, and 3 in terms of the seasons for iCarly already, so you can check those out on the channel. But right now we're going to do season 4, and I will say I think season 4 is actually more exciting than people give it credit for, but let's get into it. First, we got I Got a Hot Room, which is Carly's 16th birthday, and she's had a disappointing birthday last year. And Spencer tries to make her happy with some surprises, one of which include a gummy bear um, bedside lamp, and it goes terribly wrong and it burns down her whole room. But in the process, they also discover her grandma's watch, I believe, which is worth like $80,000. Carly's unaware of this, and Spencer lies to her and says, "Oh yeah, it's only $500 we recovered from the fire." And yeah, and then he gets her a job at Groovy Smoothie, and in the meantime, Spencer gets a bunch of her friends and some other people to build her this amazing room for 82K. Although it is quite unrealistic that they build that room in one day. Like, come on. But I think it's awesome when Carly gets home and she has this awesome room, and like it is a wholesome episode. I'm gonna put this one in, I think, great. I think it's a great episode. It's not the best, it's not the worst, but I think it's quite wholesome. As they make up in the end as well. Then we got Sam's mom, which I think I'd put this. You know what? I'll talk about it first. So in this episode, Sam comes over to the Carly's apartment or Spencer's apartment and basically exclaims that she's moving in, but this causes a bunch of problems because Sam is hard to live with because she leaves half-eaten food in Carly's bed or erases a full series on the DVR that they were watching, or, you know, leaves her underwear on the stairs or whatever. She does all these things. And Carly and Spencer and the rest of the gang have had enough, so they get Sam and Sam's mom to make up. But this is difficult. They get to a therapist, and the therapist has to resort to them both going in the box, and then you have them arguing for 3 hours. Carly finally gets there wondering what's happening, and then she gets thrown in the box. But Carly has claustrophobia, and she starts going crazy, and Sam's mom and Sam have to eventually make up. So and they do, and the episode I think ends up right about there. I think this episode is pretty good. I honestly think it's maybe a little overrated. It was marked as like an iCarly special, but I think it's just okay. Although we do get to see Sam's mom for the first time, I believe. Next, we have I Get Pranky, which is one of my favorites from this season. I think a lot of people actually like this episode, and it spawns the iconic song. I forgot what it's called, but the one that goes da 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 do do do. I don't know. I just love that montage of Spencer pranking people with that song. You know, with his hands. It's really funny, and I think it's one of my favorites. I just love the idea that this old kind of habit of Spencer's, which makes a lot of sense because he's very handy with props. It comes back and he pranks people, and I don't think I need to go over the episode, but I think it's a really funny episode. I would come back to it a lot. Next, we got I Sell Penny Tees, and I think they've been wearing penny tees throughout the show because Sako's sister or something sells penny tees, and I think her name is Penny. So that's interesting. And then they eventually come to the conclusion that they can make penny tees to make money because fans want them. So they do, but they have varying opinions on how it should be done. Sam hires a whole grade of school kids, and that's obviously super dark, and they don't get paid, and they get fed like animal food, which shows a lot of Sam's character, to be honest. Like, it's a bit dark. And then obviously, like, that will get them to work, but that's through fear. And you know, there's two different types of leadership that usually work. One is through fear, the other's through love. So Carly and Freddie go with love, but that leads the kids to be kind of slacking. So you need something in between. But I think it's a really fun episode. Honestly, I do quite like it. And I think it needs to be labeled as a iconic or classic episode because penny teens are throughout the show, and we get the backstory and kind of all these things. Next, we have I Do, which is a bit weird because you have this kind of really shy guy reaching out to help with his wedding, I believe. Not his engagement. I think just his wedding. And the guy is just, he is incapable of controlling his emotions. He ends up peeing himself when he has to sing because he writes a song, so Carly sings it for him. And there's a bunch of things that happen in the episode. I think it's quite entertaining, but it's not one of my favorites. But Carly gets to sing one of her singles, I think, from her album in real life, Miranda Cosgrove, Shakespeare. And that's interesting, and I thought it was nice. So I think I could drop this in great or pretty good. And we could drop it in pretty good. Next, we have I Start a Fan War, which is absolutely one of my favorites. I love just the amount of content we get in this episode. We get Jack Black. We get characters from pretty much every other show. Drake and Josh. We get Craig and Eric. We get Stacey Dilson for the second time in this season. We have, I think we get Gavin as well from Drake and Josh. Just crazy what we get, and we get Jack Black, just the Jack Black, as as aspartame, which is making fun of aspartame, something you put in Coke Zero, and then you get a Ruthor with Spencer, and a bunch of things. This episode is packed. It's such a great episode, and it was originally marked as this kind of, like in the promos for this episode is like SETI versus Creddy, which is which is a heated topic in this episode, and I think that a lot of people maybe dislike this season because there is a focus on SETI, and eventually, as I'll get into later, it does come to fruition. But I think that this episode in particular showcases that this season was catered towards the fans. They showed a lot of things that the fans wanted answers to and wanted to see. So I don't know. This episode just has too much in it for me. I just enjoy it too much. Next we have I Hire an Idiot, which is a skip for me. They basically hire, they have auditions to hire like a new intern for iCarly, but Carly and Sam pick the airhead or people who are actually competent, and then Freddie, just as a point, hires someone to play an idiot girl, and they come to the conclusion that yes, they need to be fired. But it's just skippable for me. I don't like the whole hot guy thing. Next we got I Pity the Neville, which I think is an iconic or classic episode. I love how this shows that some people just are deeply mean. Like Neville really is mean. Like even after restoring his image, he goes back and yells at an elderly man for accidentally bumping into him. But I love the whole karma party thing, and I don't know. I think this episode really adds a lot of character to Neville and the rest of the game. So it's a good episode for me. And I think it's an iconic episode. One of the last that Neville even appears in, I think. Next, we have Oh My God, which is Nickelodeon's attempt to bring the ratings back, I think. Why did we need this? Well, I don't know, but some comments already made it clear that yes, I am a big fan of the episodes which bring Carly and Freddie together, but maybe I'm not as particular about, or I don't like it as much when they try to make the Sam and Freddie thing work out. I just think it looks so unnatural on screen as well, but I can't put this episode any lower than iconic because it is iconic. It adds so much to the story. It kind of matches up with this episode, I Start a Fan War, and it has lasting effects on the rest of the show. So, and it does make Sam and Freddie less violent towards each other, or at least Sam is less violent towards Freddie. But that being said, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of the way they did that, but I think everyone saw it coming, and if they handled it a little better, I think it'd have been more interesting. But the episode itself is great too, with the whole science stuff, and it's funny. There's a lot of funny moments. Next and last, we have iParty with Victorious, which, in a similar way to I Start a Fan War, it has to go up here. There's just, how can you not love a crossover between these two shows? Although, I have heard a lot of people say that they don't like the way this was handled, especially from the Victorious angle, because this felt more like a iCarly episode, which it was. But I understand that, a lot of things don't make sense, I guess. But, I don't know. I like the plot of this guy that's kind of moving between these two cities and tricking these two girls. And then he gets what he deserves. But there's just so much to it. They have the theme songs match. They have Keenan Thompson in this. They have all the different weird characters coming together, like Psychowitz and Spencer and Gibby. Uh, Sinjin. There's just too much to love here. I like this a lot. And anytime they kind of bring together the universes, I think it's really fun. As you see, a kind of a theme here. So to sum up season 4, I think it gets too much hate, or at least for this batch of episodes. I think some people consider a couple more episodes in season 4, but this is what I consider season 4, and I think that's, like, as you can see, I think there's just so much content. This season was catered towards the fans, although sometimes they tried to boost ratings, but I really do think the season is quite good. Although you do get some episodes which are maybe less good, the ones I'm seeing in front of me, I can't put this season as the worst. I think this season is actually quite good. But I'm going on too long. Thank you for watching. Make sure to check out the seasons 1, 2, and 3. We make so much other iCarly content. We're going to make new iCarly content for the new series. And so make sure to subscribe for that. But yeah, thank you for watching and look forward to season 5 tier list soon. Thank you for watching.